Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us a part of your day.
Also here, AMC Movie News Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey, lovely to be back.
And last but not least, writer-director John Schnepp.
What's going on? We all got to see Need for Speed last night. Really fun.
Really fun.
Action, vanishing point, practical car effects. If you're into car chasing, car racing, car effects, it's great. And Aaron Paul
Jesse
was awesome.
Pinkham.
Aaron Paul, awesome. Yeah.
It's now official. We have our main cast for the upcoming Fantastic Four reboot. Miles Teller is Mr. Fantastic. Michael B. Jordan is the Human Torch. Jamie Bell is the Thing. And Kate Mara, sister of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo star Rooney Mara, is the Invisible Woman. The new Fantastic Four hits AMC theaters everywhere on June 19th, 2015. John, what do you make about this official casting?
Everybody sing with me if you can. Muppet Babies! Of course it is the Fantastic Four babies. Look, here's the thing. I got so many tweets last night when they made this announcement of Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and Jamie Bell. And people saying on Twitter, I can't wait to hear Campy go off on this tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And I hate to disappoint you all, but I'm not going to go off on it because here's the thing. First of all, I just watched Zoolander the other day, so if you've seen Zoolander, you understand this when I say Miles Teller, so hot right now. Miles Teller, so hot. Miles Teller is really hot right now. I mean, he's a big Michael B. Jordan. A very strong argument can be made. He should have gotten an Academy Award nomination this year. It was a very tough field, so whatever. Kate Mara is great. I love her in House of Cards, and I like Jamie Bell. He was my co-star in Jumper. I was in the London double-decker bus, and I was in the pub at the beginning of the film. I was an extra in that movie. Anyway, I really like him, and he was really actually quite good in Man on a Ledge with Sam Worthington. And I've had a chance to talk to him a couple times. Really charming guy. I like all these people. I think they're all talented. Great. My problem is not who they cast in the film. My problem is what the casting tells us about the film. And what this tells us about the film is that they're going to have an early to mid-20s Dr. Reed Richards, who's supposed to be one of the most intelligent men on the planet. And that disappoints me. I didn't want the Fantastic Four babies. Now, if you've got a Fantastic Four babies story you're going to tell, then it would have been dumb to hire, Daniel Day-Lewis as Reed Richards.
It's never dumb to hire
Daniel Day-Lewis. It's never wrong.
Put the makeup on that guy. He's 20. Yeah.
But I mean, the problem here is if you're going for the young Fantastic Four babies, then this is a impressive lineup. Mm-hmm. Who's going to argue against Michael B. Jordan after seeing Fruitvale Station? Who's going to argue against Kate Mara? Who's going to argue against any of these guys right now? It's a nice casting if this is your movie. I'm more concerned about the fact that this is the direction they're going. I'm not happy. Just because I'm not happy, though, doesn't mean it's not the right decision. I mean, we'll see. Maybe they've got a terrific, fantastic story. So, am I happy about the casting? No. But because of what that tells us about the story, not about these individual actors. If you're going with the story, this is as good of a lineup as you could ask for. I just wish they were going with the classic Fantastic Four and not this. That's just my thoughts on it right now, which can change. But anyway, Amy Rose, you found out about the official word. It should be pointed out, this comes as a surprise to nobody.
No,
We've been talking about this.
happening.
Jamie Bell is the biggest name out of nowhere that's kind of filled it out. But your thoughts on this whole development?
It makes me think that maybe there's a spy in the midst over at Fox who is trying to make this property fail, so the rights are resorted back over to Marvel. Just saying. For every great comic book character, there's obviously an origin story. They don't just pop up at 40. So I'm not really offended by the fact, sure, I don't like the whole Fantastic Four babies either, but it's happening. They're trying to reach a younger demographic. They're, introducing the characters again. That's fine. But these actors, again, as you mentioned, I like all of them on their own a lot. Miles Teller, he's really been taking some great steps for his career. The Spectacular
really
Now is what I was and Whiplash coming out of Sundance. I mean, he's a really solid actor with a lot more to say than just the token comedy we've seen, even though he's great at that too. Michael B. Jordan, Fruitvale, I mean, I love him as well. I am a little disappointed that they didn't make Sue Storm black as well. I really do.
That's the thing. If you're going to go with Michael B. Jordan, I would have much preferred preferred if they cast an African American
Exactly.
actress. So it's a key essential element to those
It
characters
really
that they are
is.
blood siblings.
And sure, they're gonna do some sort of adoption or interracial
Sure.
marriage or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine, but if you're gonna go that way, I wish she would have continued.
If you're going
with
that
it.
way, go all the way
and
that
I'm
way.
fine with you going that way. I think
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's gonna be a great Human Torch. So yeah, and Jamie Bell, from Michael Chiklis to Jamie Bell. I mean, I don't even know. Again, I like all these actors. Kate Mara's fantastic, but they would have definitely not been my first choice for this. But they're going young, and this is what's happening. So we'll see what happens. I still believe in Josh Trank as the director, so we'll see.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually excited about this, to be honest with you. Like, after hearing all the casting decisions, and Jordan being the Human Torch is fine with me. I'm cool. I don't mind, you know, if it's adopted or Sue's adopted or whatnot. I just think it's cool to mix it up a little bit. We've already seen a Fantastic Four and its sequel, and I'm on the record saying I hated both of them. So any type of a reboot, Muppet Babies, I don't care, anything.
Well,
Make
the
them
Muppets
old
are
people with walkers, I'll watch it. Anything besides those other two dreadful, horrible films. And I know that Josh Trank is going for something with an edge. It's not a comedy. It's going to be very serious. It's going to be darker. And everything that I know about the film, which I know a lot about what's going on, I think it's moving forward in the right direction. And yeah, they're cast young. It's skewed young. Think about them being in a very special college. And there's nothing really that bad about it. If you go back to Fantastic Four #1, Johnny Storm was in high school. Sue Storm was like in her early 20s. Reed and Ben were like probably about 32 or 33, maybe in their early 20s. They weren't all that old. So to me, it's, you know, Reed just had those cool gray streaks, you know? It's like,
Super cool.
yeah, I mean, he's like a Doctor Strange with stretchy powers, you know? Can't do the magical stuff. But
Yeah, I guess I'm uncomfortable with this, but I think that's the right word, uncomfortable. And sometimes uncomfortable can be good. I mean, this might end up being the absolute perfect direction for them to go. And like I said, if you're going to go this way, I believe this is the right cast. But I agree with you again about the whole Johnny Storm, Sue Storm thing. If you're going to cast Michael B. Jordan, which I think is a really bold decision to do, and he's
like
a great
it.
actor, I just kind of wish, for the sake of what's essential and core to it, I do wish they would have gone all the way with it and cast an African-American actress to play Sue. Interesting thing, though, about this cast. Aside from Miles Teller, who I can't think of anything off the top of my head, all of these actors have comic book or superhero film experience. So if you're looking at Kate Mara, she was in Iron Man 2. She was actually a very small role. She was like a marshal in Iron Man 2. She was also in that movie Zoom. Remember Zoom?
Oh.
If you're going to look at Michael B. Jordan, he worked with Josh Trank in Chronicle. And he was great in that.
Fabulous in that.
Jamie Bell, he was in Jumper, not a comic book movie, but certainly a superhero type movie. And Miles Teller, I have no idea. If somebody's got an idea about a comic book or superhero movie that Miles Teller's been in, let us know. So it's a really interesting thing. It's going to be curious now that it's official that this is the way they're going, which we've suspected for a long time. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it and which way they go.
Yeah,
now let's see who they cast as Doctor Doom.
That is.
Or if they
very
use Doctor
interesting.
Doom.
yeah, he's in it.
He's gotta be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're going to use
Don't say too much.
I won't. So I think it's a smart move, and I'm more excited as more things happen and progress. I don't think that this film is going to be a bad version of the Fantastic Four. I just think it's updated.
We've already got the bad version of the
Yeah.
That's a bad
It's
version. We
gotta
don't have
be
to go
better,
back.
It can't be worse.
Right. It's definitely, it will
I
not
mean,
be.
heaven help us
Yeah.
if it is worse.
I don't think that's even possible. It's not
possible.
cosmically possible for that to happen.
All right, what's next?
It's been confirmed that Spartacus and A Good Day to Die Hard star Jai Courtney will play Kyle Reese in the upcoming Terminator Reboot. Courtney will star alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jason Clarke as John Connor, and the Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor. The new Terminator is set to hit AMC theaters on July 1st, 2015. Schnepp, do you like the casting of Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese?
I like that picture. That's pretty awesome.
is
And
a good
I
picture.
like Jai Courtney as John Connor. I think it's great. I mean, they already have the Clarks are the Connors. Strange, weird casting choices for
Perfect.
names. The Clarks are the Connors, and Jai Courtney's going to bring like a more muscly military aspect to who Reese is. I mean, Michael Biehn was awesome as the original Reese. So.
Right. And Reese is supposed to be the muscle
Yeah,
anyway for
they
John
send
Connor.
him back in time
Yeah.
to take out a robot and save Sarah Connor. So you got to be, you know, in the military, so to speak, and high up if they're going to send you back to fight.
A Terminator.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the Cyberdyne. Yeah,
The
Cyberdyne
cyborg
systems.
creature.
The T-800. Yeah, it's all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's great casting.
What do you think?
I'm a little less enthusiastic. I don't hate it, but I haven't really been too impressed. I actually think he overacts. I believe it was Jack Reacher that he delivered some lines so poorly that I was just like, he kind of feels like the poor man's Tom Hardy to me. But I don't hate it. He does have that, authoritative kind of military vibe to him, and I love Emilia Clarke in this, and I do think it's shaping up to be fine. I'm not offended by it, but I can't say he would have been my first pick.
Can I just say the poor man's Tom Hardy? Tom Hardy is so awesome. It's hard to compare anyone to him.
But he kind of has, just that vibe to him, and in Jack Reacher especially, I feel like that's the first thing that came to my mind. And I was just like, I just feel like he's overacting. I can see him acting, and I just haven't seen that role yet. Again, look at all the films he's been in. It's not like he's really had the opportunity to shine in these.
Can I just say that he killed it in I, Frankenstein?
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. He was awesome in it. Yeah, no, he was great in it.
I mean, I got to disagree with you actually on the Jai Courtney thing. I actually think Jai Courtney is a great example of just because an actor's been in great things doesn't mean they were great, but just because they've been in some awful stuff doesn't mean they were awful in it. I thought Jai Courtney was actually flat out awesome in the most recent Die Hard, which was a bad film.
Really bad.
But I thought he was the one shining moment in that film. I thought it was good. And I actually, he was my favorite part of Jack Reacher.
Oh, I thought he was bad.
And I liked Jack Reacher.
I liked Jack Reacher too, but I thought he was bad in it.
Right, and I thought he actually outshined Tom Cruise in it. I thought he was really good, and I loved him in Spartacus, as Spartacus's best friend with the horrible fate. I mean, I thought he was really good. I think Courtney has big star potential, and I mean, I don't see him the way you do. I don't think he overacts, but you see it differently, and I think a lot of other people will agree with you as well. But for me, I think this is a really nice piece of casting. My hesitancy just comes with this project as a whole. I'm still not sold on this new Terminator as a whole yet. I'm not against it. I'm just waiting a little bit more till I understand, at least until we know what direction is this story going. How exactly does it fit into the continuum and timeline of what is Terminator? And we don't know that specifically yet. You had a thought?
Time travel, yo.
That's what we were
talking about that yesterday. We were like talking off screen about I'm really into it just because of the possibilities, which he rightly so is not into it as much because of the possibilities. But I think I think that they're going with possibly the TV show as a completely different time jump.
Right.
And
Which was awesome.
But they've announced that they're like, we're moving forward with the idea of doing a trilogy, almost like the Dark Tower. Is like we're doing a trilogy and then a TV show and then another, movie, TV. I think that's great.
And the Ellison siblings were fighting so long to get this property to work with.
Right.
They really, really love this franchise, and they wanted to bring another film to this generation. So that, to me, it's a passion project, and I'm glad that Megan gave it over to her brother, Skydance. You always tease me for passion.
No, just because remember,
come on!
Dungeons and Dragons was a passion project
no.
too. It was.
No, this is Terminator. Don't even put Dungeons and Dragons in with Terminator.
Yeah, Dungeons and Donuts?
All right, it's time for that part of the show called Buy and Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then Schnepp, Amy Rose, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So Ashley, what do we got?
Actor Vin Diesel took to his official Facebook page and posted this picture of production illustrations for his new project, The Last Witch Hunter, suggesting that the film may get the green light soon from Summit Entertainment. The Last Witch Hunter is set to follow an immortal witch hunter, Diesel, who partners with his natural enemy, a female witch, to stop the covens of NYC from unleashing a plague on humanity. Amy Rose, buy or sell the sounds of The Last Witch Hunter?
I love you, Vinny, but I'm selling this for now. Sorry to make you almost spit on your teeth, John. Yeah, no. I don't even need to elaborate this. I'm not gonna lie, some of the concept art does look a little cool, but Vinny as a witch hunter partnering with his enemy, I'm just not into it now. Maybe it will surprise me, but for now, I'm just not into it.
Schnepp.
I am totally buying this for the exact opposite reasons as to why you sold it. I think it's just looking at that production art, I was like,
that's cool, I'll admit that.
I'm into it. I want to see Vin Diesel as a witch hunter. He's hooked up with some other weird aberrant coven. I love saying coven. American
Hansel and
movie.
Gretel with Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I just think it's a really cool mix-up. I'm going to make a joke movie called The Last Sandwich Hunter. So that's just going to be my thing. But no, seriously, I think the production art looks great. And anytime I'm a fan of pre-production art. So whenever I see that they put a lot of time into developing the worlds and they've already got storyboards, I just get excited about stuff. So I'm hoping that, and Vin Diesel's a nerd. He's a giant nerd.
Right.
So obviously he wants to be a witch hunter. Let him do it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well. Actually, when I look at this production art, it looks. If you told me that's the production art for the new Warcraft movie, I would totally buy it.
Yeah,
I mean, it totally
totally
looks like Warcraft.
It even almost looks like Lord of the Rings in some of it.
Yeah,
it's
and some
pretty
a little
cool.
Lord of the
There's some
Rings.
Avatar,
Vin
giant
Diesel.
tree. You know,
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna just hesitantly for now buy it. It sounds like it could be kind of some brainless schlock fun. And you're right.
You nailed that.
Vin Diesel is a legit nerd at heart, and for him doing a film like this, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. I could easily switch over to Amy Rose's side on this very quickly, but for now, I'm gonna give it a buy. What's next?
Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller, who have already done that awkward moment, are about to do the Fantastic Four, and it seems they're going to re-team again with their awkward moment director, Tom Gormican, in his new untitled heist movie. Not much is known about the project, but it's said to be in the spirit of Ocean's 11 and will take place in China. Schnepp, buy or sell, Teller and Jordan re-teaming yet again.
You know, I love comedy duos. I love the action duos. It's always good when you have the good cop, bad cop. You have, you know, so I'll hesitantly buy it. You know, I haven't seen Miles Teller in almost anything yet, so it's really hard. But Jordan is an incredible actor, and I'm on his side on anything he does until he fails 5 times. Then I'll be like, So
Five
times. It has to be 5. I just randomly pulled that out.
I'm going to sell this, and oddly enough, I actually liked the chemistry between Teller and Jordan in that awkward moment. I thought they had pretty damn good chemistry. And I thought the movie was okay, but I thought they had really good chemistry. It's going to be interesting seeing the Fantastic Four, but do I want to see them in 3 movies together within like 18 months? And then the inevitable Fantastic Four 2, and maybe the Fantastic Four X-Men crossover and whatever. I mean, find another actor. I mean, we don't need to have the same 2 together for 3 movies that's going to be released within 18 months of each other. I think it's just a little much. So on that, but even though I like both of them, and I like their chemistry together, I think it's a bit much so for me to sell.
My heart literally fluttered when you said X-Men Fantastic Four crossover. So careful when you know this company's in the room.
Right.
I'm going to buy it because I, like you, thought they had really good chemistry in that awkward moment. It was a very formulaic film, but it was enjoyable. And actually, Zac Efron, the trio of them, had really great chemistry. And
it's true.
Michael B. Jordan, I kept wanting him to say bra. Just because of Fruitvale Station, I kept expecting it. But yes, he's really good. I thought they had good chemistry. And why not? When you find someone you love working with, I mean, we see it with Judd Apatow's film and Wes Anderson's films and all these films, these troupes that love working together. Why not? And I'm a sucker for heist films. So I think it'd be cool to see them in this.
Yeah, I like the heist aspect of this,
Can
too.
I just suggest maybe a musical number? They could it's Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. You got Abbott and Costello. You have Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. You know, this could be the next duo.
Who knows?
Apparently.
We'll see.
He's on his way.
Right?
All right, what's next?
Columbia Pictures has released this first clear look at Dane DeHaan as the Green Goblin in the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man 2. John, buy or sell this new image?
He looks like me after I go a few weeks without football. I mean, the
dear.
Super Bowl's done. I buy it. I think this looks great. I think it looks awesome. I think DeHaan, I still stand. I thought DeHaan was a brilliant casting for this role the first time they announced it. I still think it is. Love this image. For me, it's a buy. Schnepp?
Total buy for me. I'm super happy to see that the Green Goblin looks insane and he's not wearing a giant weird mask where it's like, Spider-Man, you can't see that I'm angry because I have a mask on. This is an awesome version of Green Goblin. Full buy. So.
Yeah, full buy. It's finally going to erase Topher's awful version from my mind. I think he looks amazing. Dane DeHaan is he's one of the best rising stars. Every film he's been in, Chronicle, Lawless, everything.
He's
so
amazing. Good in Lawless.
And Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah.
I really see a lot of the career path that Ryan Gosling took because he was never afraid to do these films that weren't, public eye, like these very big blockbuster hits until The Amazing Spider-Man, but it's still very edgy, and I love this picture. I think it's just gonna be really, really fabulous.
All right, folks, listen, before we get to mailbag, we've got a little thing we want to share with you, but I want to remind you right now, we do this show live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So listen, if you're watching us live right now and you'd like to tweet in some questions, we save a little time at the end of the show to take some questions from Twitter. So you can tweet us right now. Use it at AMC Movie News. So tweet us at AMC Movie News, which you see right below me there, and then Ashley will pick out a few from there. But we'll have mailbag before that. But before we even get to mailbag, want to remind you that new movie, Need for Speed, is opening up in AMC theaters everywhere. And we yesterday had a great night because we had Aaron Paul, the director of Need for
Scott
Speed,
Waugh.
Scott Waugh, and one of their co-stars, Scott Muscuddy, also known as Kid Cudi, came into our office last night to hang out for about a half hour. We want to share with you just a little bit of the conversation we had with him last night, so check it out. You're in a really unique situation where you're coming out of a real high point in your career with the success of Breaking Bad, and you're sitting, I can just imagine you're sitting there kind of plotting out, where do you go next and what happens next? What made Need for Speed the right next big step for you, that the first thing that your audience is going to see you doing following the success of your TV show?
Yeah. Was that besides working with me?
Besides with Scott,
It was all because Scott
It was just
Waugh
me,
was
right?
directing and Scott Muscuddy was, yeah. I definitely wanted to be kind of very picky, and so I was reading through a bunch of different things, and I just wanted my next project to just be just a lot of fun for me, and this has all of that, and plus it has such a great story that when I read this script, I just instantly connected with all these characters. And
What did you feel like when you saw the title page of the script?
when I first, in all honesty, when I saw the title page of the script, Need for Speed, on my desk, I thought to myself, I really don't know if this is going to be my next move, because I didn't really, I didn't think I was going to be blown away, if I was going to be honest. But when I started reading that script, I was just instantly invested in all of it, and I loved it, and just the idea to drive across this entire country and all of these crazy cars was also very exciting to me, because I was working on a show for 6 years, playing a character that was just so tortured and beat up and just, I don't know, it was just really rough. It was hard. It was fun, and I feel very blessed, but this was much different. This is just so fun.
We're going to have that full interview up on our AMC Movie News YouTube channel here in the next couple days. Keep your eyes open for that. Right now, it's time for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Every day we pull a couple questions out of the mailbag. Ashley's got a few of them there. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Louise Angel writes, will any studio ever pick up Mortal Kombat and make a movie with some 2016 graphics, less flips and more the Raid Redemption style battles, and without packing all characters in one movie?
Well, they were trying. The director of the web series was trying for a long time to get a reboot of the film made, and then sadly a few months ago we heard that all kind of fell apart. I think eventually it'll happen. It's too big of a title to not at least give another shot to it. But right now there are no plans for it. I don't know. Interesting comment though about the Raid Redemption style. That's not Mortal Kombat. Raid Redemption style is awesome, but it's not Mortal Kombat. So I mean, I would lean away from that. I'd want to go with the more flashy visual effects stuff, because that's what Mortal Kombat is. Otherwise, it's just the Raid Redemption Part 3 instead of Mortal Kombat. So that's my thought. What do you think?
Let's back up. You didn't like Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat! Raiden! Get over here!
Johnny Cage!
Yeah. Come on.
Finish him! Come on!
Baraka.
Anyway, I think it falls in the movies that are so bad it's great. And for someone that grew up, fighter games, that's my thing. I love FPS, I love racing games, I love so many, but fighter games, bring it on. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, but you're right. The property is too hot and too fantastic for them to not bring up with, better everything, fighting, graphics, everything. So we'll see it, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I say more flips. Not less flips, more flips. Got Baraka in there. I want to see all that stuff.
Get over here!
Yeah,
More of that.
completely.
Yeah.
Reptile, acid, slide, all that stuff. So I'm 100% into seeing a Mortal Kombat movie. It's funny it was even mentioned because last week it's on Netflix and I was like, I'm just gonna watch the first 5 minutes, and literally I watched the first and turned it off. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's I like parts of it, but to watch it as an entire film.
I wouldn't be
harder.
able to stop watching.
Yeah?
I wouldn't be able to stop watching.
Oh my God.
It's guilty pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how good is the soundtrack of
It's
that movie?
incredible.
An amazing soundtrack to that movie.
The best.
So
All right, let's move on to the next question.
David Lozano writes, by airing the first official Guardians of the Galaxy trailer on the Jimmy Kimmel Show on Disney-owned ABC, going head-to-head with the new Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on its second night, do you think with Bradley Cooper on Fallon last night not mentioning GOTG during the interview was gamesmanship on the part of NBC? Thanks, and keep the show going.
No, every time they have an actor on a talk show, he doesn't talk about all 8 movies he has coming down the pipe. And Bradley Cooper has like 4 movies coming up. And Guardians of the Galaxy isn't even the next one that he has coming out. So, no, it makes sense. Plus, the talk show doesn't dictate to the guests what they can say and what they can't say. If Bradley Cooper wanted to talk, remember, Bradley Cooper is just the voice of one of the animated characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not like it's the next big step in Bradley Cooper's career. So, no, read nothing into it that Cooper didn't mention Guardians of the Galaxy. I wouldn't have expected him to, Schnepp.
Right. It's some giant conspiracy between ABC and NBC and the powers of the Illuminati. No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Rose?
But I don't think that was a dumb question because, you know, these networks do own the world. But yeah, I think that Bradley has a lot going on. But don't diminish the power of Rocket. I'm just saying, John.
Okay.
Don't diminish.
All right, listen, we've got a couple minutes left here, so we are going to take your questions from the Twitter stream right now. Ashley is our gatekeeper. She's been keeping her eye on it and picking out the questions. So, Ashley, we haven't screened these. We have no idea what's coming. Ashley, what are people asking in the Twitter stream?
Jai Patel writes, will we ever see Disney return to traditional hand-drawn animated films?
I believe I heard that they were going to try like 1 or 2 projects actually in the next while, but I heard no details about it. I never even heard if they actually started progressing on that or not. But I remember last year hearing John Lasseter mention that they were looking at a couple of projects that would be in the traditional 2D animation space, but I haven't heard anything about it since. I'd be interested. What do you guys think?
I think we've seen a couple shorts come out that have been drawn that way, that sometimes release. I love that with Disney animated films, how they do the little short like they used to do. And I think a couple of those were in the traditional format. Don't quote me, but I seem to recall some. But yeah, I would like that too, as a little tip of the hat to how far we've progressed and just the nostalgia.
Yeah, and also, I mean, remember, not everything has to be 3D.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 3D, CG means so many different things. You have CG for RoboCop, so it's photorealistic computer animation, and then you have computer animation like Frozen. So, I mean, the world of CG is vast.
Yeah.
2D animation, the return to 2D animation still requires CG or 3D because it's all done in the computer now. Nothing is, aside from penciled, hand-drawn stuff that's then scanned and then it's inked and colored and manipulated in the computer. So even with the return to 2D animation, it'll still be all computer, and the end result will be like 90% generated in the computer. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I definitely see Disney, as well as other animation studios, continuing in the realm of using 2D. Nothing really is like 2D. 3D is its own thing. So.
Well, and remember, too, that a bad movie in 3D CG animation does not magically become a good movie if it's in 2D, and vice versa.
Right.
That's just the medium. A good movie is a good movie regardless of the medium is in. A bad one's a bad one. Anyway, what's next?
Cody, aka Cody, writes, question, do you think that Marvel should be more detailed about their characters for the comic book challenged?
Read that again.
Do you think that Marvel should be more detailed about their characters for the comic book challenged?
I don't know what you're asking.
Like people that don't know comics
If they should give more backstory.
Oh, should give more backstory. Well, I think we're starting to see that, right? Like even with the, the other day, Fox put out all those pictures of all the characters from X-Men, right? Coming out.
With their little bio.
Yeah, they give little bios explaining who they are. I know Guardians of the Galaxy is doing the same thing later tonight. Damn you guys for not putting it out so we could put it on our show in time, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But they are. I think you're going to see now studios doing more in their advanced marketing to give the non-comic book initiated, which is 99% of the population, more background and insight into who the characters are, so hopefully they get invested in them before the movies come out. What do you guys think?
Well, not to mention, X-Men was a really good example, but a film should be able to stand on its own without having the prior knowledge of it. So it's the responsibility of the filmmakers to explain the characters in enough depth and detail for those that don't know the subject matter. You see that with anything from, book to film, comic book, anything, TV show. So it's really the responsibility of the filmmaker. I think they've done a pretty solid job. I am less familiar with Guardians, and I feel like everything I've seen, they are explaining that property more. So I think they're doing an okay job. But yes, there should always be a lot of details to explain to people that don't have the love and affinity for it.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great question because I think within the branded world of properties, I mean, I wanted to see a Micronauts series or movie or Rom the Space Knight, which was a weird toy. I mean, there's all these different branded characters and properties that come from games or television or from action figures or toys. Comic books specifically have blown up giant in the last 15 years. And pre-branding them and letting people become a little bit more aware of them, just as comic books, is a great idea for the mass populace, just so that they get to know who Cloak and Dagger are, or characters that no one would really know unless they were reading comics. So I think it's a great idea.
All right, what's next?
Jonathan Rivera writes, could Disney make a Jafar movie like the Maleficent movie? I love Jafar. He's dark and edgy.
Yes.
I love Jafar. I thought Jafar is one of the great Disney animated villains. So much character and so funny at the same time. No. That would be a bad idea. I love him where he is. Leave him there. I don't think, no, they never will, and I don't think they should either. What do you guys think?
What if Maleficent is a gigantic success?
Jafar ain't Maleficent.
I know. He is great. I love me some Aladdin, so
Me too.
I am partial to it. But yeah, I mean, I do love that they're telling it from the villain's perspective. I think Maleficent is really great, and it will probably open the door, but we'll probably see Ursula before we see Jafar or some of the other more well-known.
Don't doubt any straight-to-home video animated things, but a feature film on Jafar ain't Maleficent. I mean, so I don't think that'll happen.
I say let's see Robo-Criminal. So it's just like, you know, a guy from prison given robotic powers. The trend right now is let's go with the villain. Maleficent, you have the Sinister Six.
Yeah. Right.
We're going to see a lot more villains get their lead roles. Loki isn't too far behind. I think. Eventually, Phase 8 or whatever. Who knows? They might get it earlier, but that seems to be a trend that's starting up. And if Maleficent is a big hit, who's to say what the next super villain movie is going to be?
Right.
And I love it. I love the trend.
Let's rapid fire here through 4 more.
Okay, Immortal Tony writes, what actor or actress would you like to see star in your life's autobiography?
Liam Neeson and mine.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Immortal Tony, I want you to play me in my life story.
All right, what's next?
Let's just do Angelina. Let's shoot for the stars.
Yeah. Brad Pitt as me.
Bazinga Guy writes, are there any female directors you like?
I love Lynn Ramsey. She did We Need to Talk About Kevin, and that was a fantastic film. You should really see it. It's really creepy and edgy. Ezra Miller was the star, as well as, what the hell is his name? Wreck-It Ralph. John C. Reilly. Yes.
I'll say Allison Anders. I'll say Jane Campion. I'll say
I love
Catherine
her.
Bigelow.
I love Catherine Bigelow,
if you don't
too.
know enough female directors, look it up.
Yeah.
I love Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
She's
I
amazing.
mean, a lot of people, I don't know why in hindsight, pissed on The Hurt Locker. But
Why?
Oh my God, what
the
a great
direction
film.
of The Hurt Locker is so well done.
It's amazing.
It was kind of neat that she won her Academy Award for directing the same year that her ex-husband was nominated.
Cameron,
There's
yeah.
some interesting drama
She
there.
also
Okay.
did Point Break, people.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Karen Holt writes, question, can/should Sony add an original superhero into their Spider-Man universe?
Yeah, I think it would be a smart move at some point. I think they've got some ground to cover still, but to create their own brand new character, since they're trying to create their own Spider-Man cinematic universe, at some point they're going to have to introduce something. It wouldn't be a bad move to create their own.
That's weird. Can they do it? Is that violating whatever their rights are with Marvel?
don't think so.
Hey, Spider-Man Goobly Goop, our special guy who's made of weird silver nitrate. You're like, what? That's not in the comic.
I'm absolutely in with that description. So yes, absolutely.
All right, what's next?
Jonathan Barbosa writes, remake question, would you guys like to see a remake to Disney's The Black Hole?
I was never, I remember I was really young the first time I saw that, but I saw it again like 6 or 7 years ago. Honestly, I know a lot of people have a big nostalgia thing with it. I didn't think it was all that good or all that special, so I wouldn't be interested in it. What about you guys?
I thought it was cool. Don't touch it. I don't want it remade.
I want it 100,000% remade.
And the little floating robots.
Vincent and Maximilian live again. I want to see it. Somebody make it.
All right, what's next?
You. I nominate you.
All right.
Jonathan Rivera writes, can DC ever attempt time travel in any of their projects, like Justice League meeting the Justice Society of America?
No, they can, but to me, time travel, unless it is the core of what your whole universe is, like we were just talking about Terminator.
Right.
Time travel is the core plot point of Terminator. Other than that, I've talked about this before. Time travel, alternate Earths, alternate dimensions, alternate universe is all crap, cop-out, bull crap. I'm trying really hard not to swear. I'm pulling out every word I can and not swear. It's just, no, it's stupid. I don't want them to do it. It's idiotic. Not that your question's idiotic. I would just be really outraged if they did. I think it's a stupid cop-out, so no, I don't want to see
John,
it.
tell us what you really think.
If it fits with the story, sure, but I don't want them to just throw it in there. And the DC properties I've liked so much do feel a lot more grounded. Like time travel wouldn't make sense. So far, I haven't seen where it would.
Well, time travel is not necessary. They could just go to Earth H or Earth 2. Or I mean, DC, the universe itself already has multiple universes. So that it's not
Which
time
is
travel.
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but I'm just saying it's like time travel to me is one step above like, oh, it was all a dream. It's like it truly is like, did I
big
just
step.
watch 90 minutes? They're like, that didn't happen. So time travel is that
And
eraser.
as a hook, time travel can work as
It
a
can
hook,
work.
right? Like it's the whole foundation of A Days of Future Past. That is the foundational point of
And
that
that's
entire
gonna be
storyline.
awesome.
And that's going to be great. But to take an existing universe and just throw time travel in
Yeah.
it, I
Right.
would be against it.
It's not necessary
Yeah,
either.
I don't want it. Okay, last question.
Jonathan Rivera writes, "Hey AMC, who's the top director today in the film industry? My choice would have to be Christopher Nolan."
Nope, it's Steven Spielberg. Christopher, look, I had this, it came up before about a few months ago on AMC Mailbag. Talk to me in 10 years about Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is nothing short of magnificent. He's wonderful. He's great. But talk to me in 10 or 20 years when he's been consistently great and he diversifies himself a lot more. Steven Spielberg is the gold standard.
So
He
is
has
James
made-
Cameron.
And Cameron is awesome too. But even Cameron hasn't been able to do what Spielberg is. Spielberg has made legendary, iconic films in comedy, sci-fi, period pieces,
Adventure!
monster movies, you name it. Steven Spielberg has done it with excellence. And talk to me when Nolan has 5 Academy Awards or 7 Academy nominations or however many Steven Spielberg has right now sitting on his mantle, all for different kinds of films and different genres. This is a dude that can do. It sounds stereotypical because Steven Spielberg is the most famous of the directors, so it sounds like a cop-out to say him, but he is the most famous for a reason. He is the best, I believe, that there's ever been in the business. Nobody's ever been able to direct the way he has across every imaginable type of film, and he's shown he can do it all with excellence. So Christopher Nolan is definitely great, but talk to me in 10 or 15 years. And then maybe Nolan can be in that conversation with a Spielberg. So if you were to put together a Mount Rushmore right now of film director all time,
Right.
who would be on that? Who would be the 4 guys on that Mount
You
Rushmore?
definitely have Spielberg, you'd have Scorsese,
Yeah,
and then
I agree.
because you're asking me, I'd have Cronenberg and David Lynch.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
Wow,
just
really?
me. I mean, you asked me, but that's
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well,
No,
that's
that's a
the
good list.
difference.
That's a good list.
That's the difference between the filmmakers that really speak to us and the biggest ones in Hollywood eyes. Steven Spielberg is incredible, but he's not on my top 5 favorite list of directors. Nolan is higher for the films that really speak to me and just his approach and his really interesting subject matter. So I do see what he's asking, but to me, I agree with you. Nolan speaks to me about his work more. So it really is a different list. But in the Hollywood perception, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, those are the bigger names.
Yeah, I think if
For
I were to
now.
put together that Mount Rushmore, it would be Spielberg, in no particular order, Spielberg, Scorsese, Hitchcock. I might say
Hitchcock's
Cronenberg
amazing.
too. That would be an
Yeah,
interesting one.
Cronenberg's last 2 movies I did not like,
Right.
Yeah.
but his earlier work is so powerful to me that
So powerful.
I'm allowing him 3 more. I mean, I'm 5.
Five,
I'm
you
going
are
with
a
the
5 guy.
But yeah.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. We've run out of time for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great movies playing at AMC theaters everywhere right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you're not already a subscriber, click on subscribe, become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. And if you want an audio-only edition of this episode, you can look in the description of this video where you'll find links to our Stitcher and our iTunes ratings so you can listen to us on the way to work. I want to thank, first of all, the people sitting at the desk with me, our AMC Movie News editor, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter at Amy Rosie. Thanks so much for joining us.
The one and the only Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram. I'm just at John Schnepp, and I love that Mount Rushmore question. So please, you guys, what are your 4 favorite Mount Rushmores? I'd love to see that on Twitter. I mean, because I was just thinking like maybe I should have chucked Terry Gilliam in there, but nah, his last couple.
I wouldn't put Gilliam
Yeah,
in
but
there.
you don't know.
It's a good question.
He's still going to do that Don Quixote eventually. That
That's
might
gonna
just
be a mess.
might pop up and blow our minds, you know.
And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley Mova. Happy Thirsty Thursday. Hey.
And you can find me on the various social media channels just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. So for AMC Movie News, until next time, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.